There exists an unusual principle of existence that nobody prepares you for something you only uncover after countless years of feeling drained. The instant you cease forcing things so intensely, existence begins flowing in your direction. When you let go of the internal strain you've been carrying, the elements you were pursuing, tranquility, meaning, connection, achievement, start making their way to you naturally. This isn't sorcery, nor is it coincidence. It's all about energy, because anything you pursue while gripped by fear, you're actually driving away. And anything you set free with confidence, you quietly draw toward yourself. Buddhism describes this as the liberation found in non-attachment, the practice of moving forward without desperate clinging. So consider this question. Are you genuinely advancing toward your aspirations, or are you smothering them beneath excessive analysis and emotional strain? That single question holds the power to transform your entire existence. In this presentation, I'm going to unveil why releasing control isn't the same as surrendering, but rather a more elevated expression of spiritual strength that brings you into harmony with what's genuinely destined for you. Each lesson here is designed to help you transcend overthinking, emotional turbulence, and spiritual bewilderment. Make sure to stay through to the conclusion. There's a profound insight about letting go that most individuals never encounter, and it will revolutionize how you perceive everything. Let's dive in. 1. When you pursue, you generate separation. The more intensely you race after peace, connection, or achievement, the more quickly it slips through your fingers. It's like attempting to clutch water. By gripping it forcefully, the more pressure you apply, the faster it drains away. You see, existence was never designed to be hunted down. It was designed to be experienced. Each time you declare, "I absolutely need this," or "I cannot afford to lose that," you construct a barrier between yourself and the natural current of life. The Buddha instructed that craving forms the foundation of suffering, and pursuing is simply craving wearing the disguise of drive. From the outside, it appears honorable, but internally, it is agitation, fear, and opposition. Desperation is opposition. Opposition drives things away. Consider that carefully. The vibration of chasing isn't magnetic, it's repulsion in disguise. When your inner being is restless, even what rightfully belongs to you seems far away. That's why, at times, the harder you attempt to hold on to someone, the more rapidly they distance themselves. The more you labor to demonstrate your value, the more hollow you feel inside. It's not because you're inadequate. It's because you're running in loops, trying to capture what can only arrive when you become still. Close your vision for a brief time. Release both hands completely. Notice the pressure exiting your body as you breathe out gently. That's the sensation of letting go, gentle, expansive, vibrant. When you surrender the urge to manipulate, you create room for existence to move through you. In that quietness, the correct opportunities, individuals, and directions discover their way to you, not through force, but through natural current. Letting go isn't quitting. It's believing that what belongs to you doesn't require pursuit, only an open reception. Ask yourself, what am I chasing that is secretly draining my soul? Am I operating from fear or from confidence? What would transform if I released control today? Every response you discover will return you to tranquility. Life responds to harmony, not to desperation. The tree doesn't chase sunlight, it simply extends toward it. In the same manner, your composed presence is your strongest attraction. When you stop running, you begin receiving. Repeat quietly to yourself, "I surrender the urge to control. I trust that what belongs to me will remain. I select peace instead of chasing." These aren't merely phrases, they are instruments of liberation. Because life doesn't reveal itself to those who chase it, it unveils itself to those who are calm enough to receive. We'd appreciate hearing your reflections. If you're uncertain what to express, simply type, "My life flows naturally." 2. Attachment forms the source of internal struggle. You might not recognize it initially. It starts as a mild desire, something that appears innocent, even lovely. But gradually, that desire solidifies into attachment, and what once motivated you begins to dominate you. The Buddha expressed that pain arrives through attachment and anticipation, and how accurate that is. Every time you grip onto how circumstances should unfold, you generate a silent battle inside yourself. You desire life to proceed according to your blueprint, but life possesses its own pulse, its own sacred rhythm. A bird cannot soar if its legs are bound to a rock. And yet, we become that bird, holding on to relationships that exhaust us, careers that stifle us, or identities that no longer represent who we are. We label it love, dedication, or responsibility. But frequently, it's fear. The fear of existing without what we've become attached to. When we clutch life too firmly, we forget that love was intended to circulate, not to be possessed. That achievement was intended to be expressed, not hoarded. Close your vision for a moment. Picture a bird being liberated from a golden enclosure. The entrance opens, it pauses, then spreads its wings and ascends into the boundless open heavens. Feel that instant of liberation. That's what occurs inside you when you release emotional restrictions. Freedom isn't discovered in holding tight, but in the bravery to trust existence beyond your attachments. Ask yourself, what am I emotionally bound to that's causing me pain? Is my tranquility worth sacrificing for attachment? What am I afraid will occur if I let go? Every time you confront these questions with sincerity, you reclaim your strength. The reality is, letting go doesn't equal losing. It means coming back home to yourself. It means no longer requiring the world to behave a specific way for you to feel complete. Repeat softly to yourself, "I permit life to unfold naturally. I release emotional restrictions. I respect freedom within myself." These are declarations of awakening. Each one loosens the tangles of the heart, because peace isn't discovered in possession, but in presence. And when you stop gripping, life begins flowing once more. Remember, freedom isn't somewhere external. It begins the instant you release what was never intended to remain. 3. If I don't care, won't I lose everything? That's the fear that imprisons many souls, believing that detachment equals disconnection, that peace equals indifference. But the Buddha instructed that genuine detachment isn't coldness, it is freedom arising from comprehension. Detachment is love without fear. It means you can love completely, contribute deeply, and still remain whole inside yourself. It is the practice of caring without gripping, of being present without being consumed by outcomes. Think of a tree anchored in the soil. It doesn't pursue the seasons or cling to the leaves it must eventually release. It stands firm, permitting wind, rain, and sunshine to arrive and depart. Its strength resides in stillness, not manipulation. That is what detachment feels like, rooted yet receptive. You can encounter the storms of existence without being torn from the ground. You can offer your heart to the world and still return to your core. Close your vision and imagine roots extending from your feet deep into the soil, stabilizing your calm. Feel how immovable that stillness is. The world may shift above, but you remain anchored below. Detachment doesn't request that you stop feeling. It requests that you stop fearing what you feel. It's the dimension where love breathes freely, where compassion circulates without neediness, and where peace becomes your natural condition of being. Ask yourself, do I mistake attachment for love? What would healthy detachment resemble in my existence? How can I act without clinging? Notice how frequently your actions are directed by the desire to control rather than to contribute. When you release control, love becomes lighter, and your mind becomes silent enough to hear truth whisper once more. Detachment is not losing connection, it is rediscovering it in its most authentic form. Repeat gently to yourself, I care profoundly, but I am not dominated by outcomes. I am rooted, peaceful, immovable. I remain composed in uncertainty. These affirmations are reminders of strength that doesn't depend on circumstances. You are like that tree, strong, centered, alive. You don't have to chase or grip too tightly. Simply stay anchored in presence, for life will always discover its way to those who are steady enough to receive it. Detachment isn't distance, it's freedom wrapped in love. We'd appreciate hearing your reflections. If you're uncertain what to express, simply type, My life flows naturally. 4. When you force, you obstruct flow. Why does forcing life create setbacks? Because when you push too intensely, you obstruct the very current that's intended to carry you forward. The Buddha frequently spoke of the middle path, the way of equilibrium, neither grasping nor opposing. The river arrives at the ocean not through force, but through flow. And yet, most of us spend our days struggling against the current, demanding that life accelerate faster, that dreams materialize sooner, that people transform according to our will. But the more you push, the heavier your spirit grows, because peace can never exist where opposition lives. Think of a flower blooming in springtime. You cannot pull its petals open prematurely. It would only shatter in your hands. Everything in existence possesses its own rhythm, its sacred timing. When you force life, you are declaring to the universe that you do not trust its wisdom. But when you flow, you harmonize with the intelligence that already understands where you are destined to arrive. Life is not something you dominate, it's something you collaborate with. Close your vision and imagine yourself floating peacefully on a river. The current is gentle, steady, and certain. You don't need to swim against it. You only need to surrender to its movement. Every curve, every pause, every still moment holds meaning. Even when the water slows, it is still directing you. This is the essence of trust, to understand that life's pauses are not punishments, but preparations. Ask yourself, where am I forcing outcomes? What if waiting is part of wisdom? What am I being prepared for? These reflections remind you that not everything delayed is denied. Sometimes the universe slows you down, so you can encounter yourself before you encounter your dream. When you stop forcing, you create space for grace to move. You stop battling the current and begin floating toward peace. Whisper gently to your heart, I move with life, not against it. I choose flow over force. I trust divine timing. Feel the calm in those words, the soft surrender that invites peace back in. Remember, the river doesn't chase the ocean, it simply flows, and the ocean finds it. In the same way, what's meant for you will always find its way when you stop forcing and start trusting. 5. Alignment surpasses effort. What attracts success effortlessly? The world frequently instructs you to push harder, labor longer, and battle for every inch. But have you noticed that when your heart is at peace, circumstances fall into position almost naturally? When inner energy harmonizes, outer life follows. This is one of the quiet truths of Buddhist wisdom. It is not the power of your effort that generates results, but the purity of your alignment. When your inner state and your outer actions move in harmony, life begins to collaborate with you instead of opposing you. Imagine two magnets. They only connect when aligned properly. Turn one slightly, and the same energy that attracts becomes repulsion. That's how life operates. When your thoughts are filled with fear, but your words speak of confidence, you generate inner conflict. When your desires are rooted in ego, but your actions pretend to be humble, you divide your own energy. Alignment is honesty, living and acting from a place where your heart, mind, and soul all move in the same direction. Close your vision and imagine a compass settling into true north. As it becomes still, your path becomes clear, not because the world transformed, but because you stopped spinning. That stillness is alignment. It's the quiet strength that says, I no longer chase what isn't for me. It's selecting peace over pressure, truth over pretense, and trust over control. The universe does not respond to how hard you attempt, it responds to how authentic you are. Ask yourself, am I aligned with my values? Does my energy match what I seek? What needs to transform in me to attract better? If you seek peace while living in chaos, you must first calm the energy within. If you desire love, you must become love. This is not philosophy, it's law. You cannot receive what you resist becoming. When you align your energy with what you desire, life recognizes you instantly. The right people appear, the right moments unfold, and the path ahead becomes effortless. Repeat gently to yourself, I align my actions with peace. My energy attracts what is meant for me. I choose purpose over pressure. Let these words guide your heart back to center. Alignment is not about doing more, it's about being more real. When you move from truth, effort becomes ease. Remember, the sun doesn't chase the sky, it simply rises, and the world follows. When you align with your purpose, life rises to meet you. 6. Release emotional baggage to receive. Why doesn't life offer us more unless we release first? Because the universe cannot pour blessings into a vessel that is already overflowing with yesterday's pain. An overflowing vessel cannot receive. We hold on to old disappointments, past regrets, and unhealed emotions, hoping that somehow they'll protect us, but instead, they close us off from the very flow of abundance we're seeking. The truth is, the hands that cling cannot receive. You can't fill a closed hand. Only an open palm receives blessings. So many people pray for peace while still holding tight to what disturbs them. They desire new beginnings while refusing to conclude old chapters. But life is a teacher. It cannot hand you the next lesson until you've released the one you're clinging to. The Buddha instructed that all suffering is born from attachment, and letting go is the path to liberation. Emotional baggage is not just memory, it's energy that keeps you anchored to a past that no longer exists. Close your vision and imagine setting down a heavy backpack you've carried for years. Feel how suddenly lighter your spirit becomes. That is the feeling of release, the quiet relief that comes when you stop fighting to hold on to what has already left. In that stillness, you create space for the new to enter. The right people, the right peace, the right path, they can only appear when you stop carrying what blocks their way. Ask yourself, what is weighing on my heart? What must I release to grow? What is no longer meant to come with me? Sometimes it's not life withholding blessings, it's you holding on to burdens. Every emotion you release returns as clarity. Every fear you surrender returns as strength. The moment you let go, life rushes in to fill the space with something lighter, truer, and meant for you. Whisper to yourself, I make space for better things. I choose emotional freedom. I let go of what no longer serves me. Let these words become your new rhythm. Life is not asking you to forget, it's asking you to make room. Because freedom is not found in holding tighter, but in loosening your grip. Remember this truth. You can only receive when you are open, and when you finally let go of what weighs you down, you don't lose, you rise. We'd appreciate hearing your reflections. If you're uncertain what to express, simply type, My life flows naturally. 7. Surrender is spiritual strength. Why do we fear surrender when it is our greatest power? The mind believes that surrender means defeat, that if we stop struggling, everything will collapse. But in truth, surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. The Buddha instructed that control is an illusion, that clinging to what we cannot change only multiplies suffering. Surrender is not quitting, it is trusting. It is saying to life, I no longer need to battle you, I trust where you are leading me. A boat's sail doesn't fight the wind, it uses it. When the wind changes, the sailor adjusts, not resists. In the same way, when you surrender to life's direction, you begin to move effortlessly with its current. You stop wasting energy rowing against the tide of what is, and instead glide with the rhythm of what can be. True power is not in controlling life, but in collaborating with it. When you trust the unseen, your strength turns inward. It becomes peace. Close your vision and picture yourself in a tug-of-war with life. Your hands are gripping the rope, your body tense, your breath shallow. Now imagine releasing it, just letting it fall. The struggle ends instantly. That's surrender. The tension in your chest softens, the mind quiets, and what remains is space. Space for guidance, for grace, for healing. In that stillness, you realize life was never against you. It was only waiting for you to stop resisting. Ask yourself, what am I fighting that I should surrender? What if surrender brings freedom? What is life trying to show me? Often, what we call bad timing or obstacles are simply invitations to trust more deeply. When you let go of needing to control every detail, the universe begins to move things into position with a precision that no amount of force could ever achieve. Surrender turns chaos into order, not because the world changes, but because your perception does. Whisper gently to yourself, I surrender what I cannot control. I am guided by wisdom. I live in trust, not panic. These are not just words. They are pathways back to peace. Every moment you surrender, you align with the intelligence that governs all of life. The river doesn't fight to reach the ocean. It flows naturally toward it. You are no different. The more you trust the flow, the more you are carried toward your destiny. Remember this. Surrender is not giving up. It is waking up to the truth that you were never in control, only always supported. 8. Action without attachment. How do you pursue your goals without emotional chaos? The world instructs you to chase harder, to keep striving until you win. But in that constant grasping, peace quietly disappears. The Buddha's wisdom whispers a softer truth. Work, but don't cling. Effort is noble, but attachment to results is suffering. You can pour your heart into your purpose and still remain calm within yourself. It is not effort that exhausts the spirit. It is the obsession with outcomes that does. Imagine a warrior sharpening his sword. He prepares with focus, precision, and care. But when the moment of battle arrives, he breathes, trusts, and acts. His calmness is his strength. He does not panic about victory or defeat. He simply moves with presence. That is the essence of action without attachment. When you give your best and then release the rest, you are no longer bound by fear or doubt. You are free. Close your vision for a moment. Visualize yourself placing your worries into a glowing bowl, each fear, each what if, each expectation. Watch them dissolve into light, leaving your heart lighter, your mind clearer. This is what it feels like to act without attachment, to do what is yours to do, and let life take care of the rest. The Buddha said, "Do your duty with a mind that is still." It is a reminder that your responsibility is in the doing, not the result. Ask yourself, do I act from fear or purpose? Can I let go after giving my best? What outcome am I over-attached to? Notice how often your anxiety is not about the action itself, but about the story your mind tells afterward. When you detach from the story, you find peace in the present moment. Every action done in mindfulness becomes sacred. And when your actions come from clarity, the results, whatever they are, will always serve your highest good. Whisper gently to yourself, I give my best, then release the rest. I trust effort more than outcomes. I am not defined by results. Let these words become your anchor. True mastery is not found in controlling life, but in collaborating with it. When you act without attachment, your energy becomes pure, your direction clear, and your heart unburdened. You realize that success isn't something you chase, it's something that unfolds when your spirit is aligned. The most powerful people are not those who force life to obey them, but those who trust the quiet rhythm of cause and effect. Give your best, and then let the wind carry your efforts where they are meant to go. 9. The power of inner stillness. Why does inner stillness bring clarity and blessings? Because in silence, life finally has space to speak. The Buddha often reminded his disciples, when the mind is silent, truth is heard. Most people live surrounded by noise, not just the outer noise of the world, but the inner noise of thoughts, fears, and endless what-ifs. We think that by doing more, we'll find more. But wisdom blooms not from movement, but from stillness. When the mind quiets, the heart begins to whisper the answers we've been too restless to hear. Imagine muddy water after a storm. You can stir it endlessly, but it only becomes cloudier. Yet when you leave it undisturbed, it clears on its own. This is the power of inner stillness. You don't need to force understanding, healing, or direction. You only need to stop agitating the waters of your mind. The moment you pause, everything begins to settle, and the truth beneath the surface becomes visible again. Stillness doesn't mean inaction, it means presence. It's not the absence of movement, but the awakening of awareness. Close your vision and imagine a quiet lake at dawn. The surface is perfectly still, reflecting the soft colors of the sky. In that moment, the lake doesn't chase the clouds, it simply mirrors what is. That lake is your mind when you return to stillness. When you let go of chasing, fixing, and forcing, you begin to reflect life's natural harmony. Every worry loses its grip, every fear softens, and in its place arises a deep, unshakable peace. Ask yourself, do I allow silence in my life? What truth am I avoiding? What would stillness show me now? When you stop running from yourself, you realize the answers were never outside. They were waiting in the quiet corners of your own awareness. Stillness is not an escape. It's a return to the simplicity of being, where nothing needs to be solved, only understood. Whisper gently within, I am calm, centered, and clear. Silence reveals my answers. Peace is my natural state. Let these words wash through you like gentle waves. Stillness is your power. It restores, renews, and reconnects you with the present moment. From that calm center, life unfolds effortlessly. You stop chasing clarity and begin embodying it. Because in silence, you don't lose yourself. You find the part of you that was always at peace. Remember, muddy water clears when left undisturbed, and so does the human heart. When the mind rests, life reveals its quiet blessings. 10. Acceptance transforms reality. How does accepting life change it instantly? We often resist what is, clinging to how we think life should be, and in doing so, we trap ourselves in endless struggle. The Buddha reminded us, what you accept moves, what you resist stays. Resistance is heavy. It binds the mind and heart to cycles of frustration and suffering. Acceptance, on the other hand, is not surrender to weakness. It is the courage to face reality as it is and to move forward from that clarity. Think of a tightly knotted rope. The harder you pull, the tighter it becomes. Only when you stop pulling, when you allow it to rest and loosen naturally, can the knot begin to release. Life works in the same way. The more we resist, the more entangled we feel. Acceptance is the act of releasing the tension we've been carrying unnecessarily. It doesn't mean giving up on change. It means engaging with life from a grounded, calm, and clear place. Close your vision and take a deep breath. Imagine exhaling slowly as your shoulders soften. Feel how the tension in your body and mind begins to dissolve. That is acceptance settling in, not as resignation, but as presence. You acknowledge the situation, the emotions, the reality, and you allow yourself to respond wisely rather than react impulsively. In this space, clarity arises. Choices that once seemed impossible become visible, and energy that was trapped in resistance begins to flow again. Ask yourself, what have I been resisting in life? What is this moment trying to teach me? How would acceptance feel right now? Reflection allows you to see that often what we resist is not life itself, but our own expectations, fears, and illusions of control. Acceptance opens a doorway to freedom, allowing life to move with ease rather than against us. Whisper gently to your heart, I accept what is and work with it. I am at peace with the present moment. From acceptance, I rise. Let these words settle deeply within you. Acceptance transforms not just your perception, but the very reality you experience. By yielding to what is, you find strength, clarity, and peace. When you stop pulling against life, the knots loosen, the path clears, and you move with the natural flow of existence. Acceptance is not passivity. It is the art of being fully present, fully alive, and fully open to the blessings that life always intends to bring. We'd appreciate hearing your reflections. If you're uncertain what to express, simply type, "My life flows naturally." 11. Trust creates room for miracles. What happens when you stop fearing the unknown? Most of us cling to certainty, measuring every step, planning every outcome, and fearing what we cannot see. Yet the greatest moments of growth, the deepest blessings, come precisely when we surrender that fear. The Buddha said, "When you trust, life expands." Trust is not naive optimism. It is a quiet knowing that the universe or life itself is not against you. It is the courage to step forward, even when the path is unseen, believing that what is meant for you will find its way. Think of a seed buried deep in darkness. It knows nothing of the sun above, yet it trusts enough to break through the soil, to reach upward, to grow. It does not resist the earth that covers it, nor does it demand immediate light. It simply follows its nature, allowing life to guide it toward fulfillment. In the same way, your trust is the soil from which miracles emerge. When you stop clinging to certainty, life begins to carry you toward experiences, people, and moments that were never accessible to a fearful heart. Close your vision and imagine a door slowly opening before you. Beyond it lies a glowing path, soft light spilling along the way. You do not know every step, but you sense the invitation. That is trust, the willingness to walk forward without needing to control the journey. Every delay, every uncertainty, every moment of discomfort is not punishment, but preparation. Life is teaching you patience, resilience, and faith in the unseen currents that carry you. Ask yourself, where do I need more trust? What if delays are divine protection? Who would I be without fear? Reflection allows you to see that often what feels like risk is really a door. When you step through with trust, your energy aligns with possibility, and opportunities appear naturally. Fear dissolves when it is replaced with quiet confidence, and your heart becomes open enough to receive what was always meant to come. Whisper gently to your spirit, "Life works for me, not against me. I trust the unseen path. I walk with quiet confidence." Let these words anchor you in the stillness that precedes manifestation. Trust is not passive, it is active faith, a commitment to move forward with awareness, courage, and peace. When you trust, life expands beyond the limitations of fear. The unknown ceases to be a threat and becomes a canvas for miracles. The moment you release doubt, you make room for life to surprise you, guide you, and reveal the blessings that have been waiting all along. Bonus lesson: when you let go, life gives more. What unlocks destiny? Most of us spend our lives reaching, striving, and pushing toward what we think we need. Yet in all that effort, we often overlook the simplest truth. When you let go, life gives more. The Buddha said, "Seek nothing, receive everything." Life does not answer grasping. It answers presence, openness, and the willingness to let what is meant for you come naturally. The tighter you hold, the less you feel. The softer you open, the more blessings flow. Think of butterflies in a garden. The more you chase them, the faster they flee. But when you pause, sit quietly, and open your hands, they settle gently on your shoulders and rest with no effort. Life works the same way. When you stop chasing, controlling, and fearing, you make space for synchronicity, abundance, and grace. The universe responds to your calm, not your desperation. The energy you release returns as clarity, opportunities, and connections that were waiting for the right moment to meet you. Close your vision and imagine lifting your arms to the sky. Feel the soft stream of blessings moving toward you. This is not fantasy. It reflects the law that guides life. Release is not loss. Release is alignment. Each time you let go of expectations, fear, or neediness, you create room for what was always meant to find you. In surrender, miracles appear quietly. Ask yourself, what has life already been trying to offer me? How can I learn to release a little more each day? Am I finally ready to trust life's flow? Reflection reminds you that abundance has always surrounded you, but holding on too tightly stopped you from receiving it. Letting go is a daily habit, a choice to let life move naturally instead of trying to control its path. It is a discipline of both heart and mind, asking for faith, patience, and quiet courage. Whisper softly to yourself, "Everything meant for me will find me. I am in harmony with abundance. I am open to receive." Let these words rest within you. The more you practice releasing control, the lighter your soul feels, and the more smoothly life responds. Stop chasing, start trusting. Open your heart. Let go of the urge to force, and watch how life, in its wisdom, brings exactly what you need, often more than you imagined. When you stop holding on, you create space to receive everything. Here's a quick reflection on the key ideas. When you chase, you create distance. When you chase out of fear or desperation, you give away your power. This builds emotional tension that drives opportunities and people away. Real alignment doesn't come from chasing, it comes from inner calm. You attract more by being grounded, not restless. Attachment is the cause of inner struggle. When desire turns into dependence, the mind begins to suffer. Attachment breeds fear, fear of loss, fear of being alone, fear of not being enough. True freedom starts when we engage with life deeply, but without clinging to specific outcomes. Releasing attachment is emotional freedom. Detachment is not disconnection. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop suffering over what's beyond your control. You love, work, and give fully, yet stay centered within. Detachment reflects mature emotional balance. When you try to force, you block flow instead. Forcing results only builds resistance and delay. Life has its own rhythm, and impatience disrupts it. When you act with purpose, yet remain calm, life aligns in unexpected ways. Force drains energy. Flow restores it. Effort matters, but if your mindset and actions aren't aligned, your hard work feels empty. Success is not only about doing, it's about being clear in energy and intention. When your actions reflect your values and inner peace, results come with less struggle. Release emotional weight to receive more. You cannot welcome new blessings while carrying the past. Pain, regret, and resentment block progress. When you let go of what no longer helps you grow, you create room for better things. Healing is receiving. Surrender is true strength. It's not giving up, it's trusting life's intelligence. When you stop trying to control what's beyond reach, you gain clarity and inner power. Surrender softens anxiety and reveals new paths. Letting go is how you regain strength. Act without attachment. Work for your goals, but don't suffer for them. Give your best, yet stay emotionally free from results. When you stop tying your worth to outcomes, you remain confident, calm, and strong, no matter what happens. The power of inner stillness. Most people need less noise, not more answers. Mental noise, clouds, intuition. Stillness brings clarity. When your mind is peaceful, your decisions become wiser, and your heart feels lighter. Silence resolves what overthinking never can. Acceptance changes reality. Acceptance doesn't mean agreement, it means you stop fighting what already is. Resistance causes pain, but acceptance brings progress. When you accept life as it is, you can finally move with it instead of against it. Trust opens doors, fear closes them. Trusting life means recognizing that delays have purpose and redirections bring protection. Life responds to a calm heart. When you trust, you walk forward without fear, and life supports you in unexpected ways. When you let go, life gives more. Letting go doesn't reduce what you receive, it expands it. When you release worry and control, you enter spiritual flow. Life begins to bring the right people, opportunities, and blessings. Letting go isn't the end, it's the start of what's real. There comes a moment. There comes a moment when the soul grows weary not of life, but of struggle. You realize stress was never ambition, and inner turmoil was never success. Peace doesn't come when life turns perfect. It comes when the heart stops clinging. The moment you stop chasing is the moment you start receiving. Not because life changes, but because you do. You become open, clear, and ready. You understand that surrender isn't weakness, it's your greatest strength. As Zen wisdom teaches, in stillness, the right path reveals itself. When we release what we can't control, we return to truth, we return to ourselves, and in that state, life begins to move in our favor. So don't ask, when will life give me what I want? Ask instead, what must I release to become who I truly am? Your purpose in this life is to align, trust, and allow. If this message touched your heart, like this presentation, share it with someone who needs peace, and tell us your thoughts in the comments. For more guidance on peace, detachment, and spiritual growth, your journey has already begun. Walk it with awareness.